Hello viewers, welcome to UN College Digital Class. In today's class, I am going to discuss about semantic analysis in compiler designing. In the previous classes of compiler designing, we have discussed about lexical analysis, syntax analysis, all those. In this class, we will discuss about semantic analysis, what is the meaning of semantic, and in this phase, what are the different operations performed by compiler. Let's start. Now we will discuss semantic analysis in compiler design. We know that what is the meaning of syntax. Syntax represents the grammatical rules of a programming language, and what is the meaning of semantic? Semantic represents the proper meaning. The meaning is that in case of syntax, the compiler checks whether the identifier is correct, whether the variable declaration is in proper order, etc. But in case of semantic analysis, the compiler checks whether the statement is meaningful or not. We will discuss exactly what are the different operations performed in semantic analysis in this phase. Semantic analysis is the third phase of compiler. Semantic analysis makes sure that declaration and statement of program are semantically correct. It is a collection of procedures which is called by parser when required by the grammar. Both syntax tree of previous phase and symbol table are used to check the consistency of the given code. We know that in compiler designing, in the compilation process, there are 6 different phases. The first phase is lexical analysis and the second phase is syntax analysis. And in this class we are discussing on semantic analysis, okay, which is the third phase. In this phase, the compiler uses a data structure which is called as symbol table. Symbol table keeps the tracks of all the entries related to program. And what is the job of symbol table related to different phase of compilation? Each phase of compiler take the help of the symbol table to perform the operation. Okay. Both syntax tree of the previous phase and symbol table are used to check the consistency of the given code. Type checking is an important part of semantic analysis. In the previous class also we have discussed what is the meaning of type checking, which is a job of symbol table or which is one responsibility of symbol table. Here also in semantic analysis, type checking is considered as one important aspect. Okay. In the type checking, the compiler makes sure that each operator has matching operands. Semantic analyzer, what is the meaning of semantic analyzer? We know that compiler is a software and that part of the compiler which perform the operation of semantic analysis is called as semantic analyzer. It uses syntax tree and symbol table to check whether the given program is semantically consistent with language definition or not. It gathers type information and store it in either syntax tree or symbol table. This type information is subsequently used by compiler during intermediate code generation. Now we will discuss different types of error which may be occurred and which may be termed as semantic error. We know that there are number of different types of error, just as syntax error, logical error, runtime error. Here we are discussing about semantic errors. What is the meaning of semantic error? The errors which are recognized by semantic analyzer are called as semantic error, and those are type mismatch, undeclared variable, reserved identifier misuse. Now we will discuss what are the different functions of semantic analysis. The first one is type checking. What is the meaning of type checking? It ensures that data type are used in a way consistent with their definition. And the second one is label checking. A program should contain label reference. Okay. Next one is flow control check. It keeps a check that control structure are used in a proper manner or not. For example, no break statement outside a loop. Here I have used one example In the example I have used float x, the value is 10.1, and another one is float y equal to x into 30. In the above example, integer 30 will be typecasted to float as 30.0 before multiplication by semantic analyzer. We have discussed that in semantic analysis, the semantic analyzer perform different operation, and those are, it checks whether there is a type mismatch, it also checks the proper use of label, and it also check whether the programmer is not misusing the reserved identifier, etc. Okay. What is the meaning of type checking? Whenever you are using a particular variable and you are assigning value to the variable, at that time it is very necessary to check whether the value assigned to the variable is of proper type or not. Okay. For example, suppose you have used int a and by mistake you are putting some float value in that, then that is an error. Similarly, if you are using a float variable and you are assigning a whole number, for example 10 or 20, which is automatically typecasted as 10.0 or 20.0. In this type of error are checked, or in this type of error are rectified automatically by the semantic analyzer. Now we will discuss one important aspect, that is the semantics may be categorized into two categories. One is static semantics and another one is dynamic semantics. We know that anything which is associated with the keyword static, that cannot be changed, and the same rule is also applied here. What is the meaning of static semantics? It is named so because of the fact that these are checked at the compile time. The static semantics and meaning of program during execution are indirectly related. Now we will discuss dynamic semantic analysis, or what is the meaning of dynamic semantic. It defines the meaning of different units of program like expression and statement. These are checked during runtime, not like static semantic. Here I have used some example of semantic error or semantic analysis, exactly what the operation performed by semantic analysis. Okay. Here in this example I have used one string x, then int y, and the statement I have used here y equal to x plus 3. Here the use of x is a type error. Why? Because x is string type and y is int type, and we cannot perform this arithmetic operation here. So it is a type error. Next example is that here I have used int a comma b, a equal to b plus c. When you are using this type of statement, again error will be there, c is not declared. An identifier may refer to different variables in different parts of the program. An identifier may be usable in one part of the program but not another. In this way, semantic analysis uses number of aspects to check whether is there any semantic error or not. Here also I have used some examples of semantic errors. Those are use of a non-initialized variable. Already in the previous example we have used the example of undeclared variable. Here I am going to explain use of non-initialized variable. For example, suppose I have used int I, then I plus plus. Here the variable I is not initialized. It means that we are just adding one unit to the garbage value. In this example, I have used type incompatibility. Also in the previous example, I have used that the type incompatibility. Here again I want to discuss that. Here int a equal to hello, hello is a string type and int a is integer type, and int and string are not compatible. So it is type incompatible error. Here again I have used another error, that is errors in expression. String s, in string s I have used some dots inside double quote, then int a equal to 5 minus s, The minus operator does not support argument of type string. Instead of string S, I have used here some dots. You may use anything, but it is not compatible. Okay. So here the error is error in expression. Part of semantic analysis is producing some sort of representation of the program, either object code or intermediate code representation of the program. The main objective of compiler to produce the target code, but before generating the target code, number of operations are performed, just like lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, optimization, lots of things. Okay. The job of the semantic analysis is that to check whether the program is semantically correct or not. It's okay. But the output which is generated by the semantic analyzer is a sort of type of target code, that may be object code or that may be intermediate code. What is the meaning of intermediate code? Before generating the target code, the compiler generates one intermediate code, and that will be generated by the semantic analyzer, or it may generate object code also. We know that there are number of different types of compiler. Here first of all we are going to discuss about one pass compiler. If we are using one pass compiler, then the one pass compiler will generate object code without using an intermediate representation. Code generation is part of the semantic action performed during parsing. Okay. But in case of other compilers, what they are doing? Other compilers will produce an intermediate representation during semantic analysis. Most often it will be an abstract syntax tree. Now here we have summarized the tasks performed by semantic analysis. Those are scope resolution, type checking, array bound checking. What is the meaning of scope resolution? We know that when you are writing a program, some variables are inside a block, some variables are global. It also checks by the semantic analyzer. And another, in suppose you are using any Java programming or C++, at that time scope resolution operator is also used. All the tasks are performed by the semantic analysis. And the next one is type checking. Already we have discussed what is the meaning of type checking. Here the variable types are checked with the value assigned to the variable. And another thing is that at the time of calculating expression, also whether the two different data type, whether the different variables are compatible with each other or not, that is also under this category of type checking. Then the next one is array bound checking. Here we will discuss about type checking and array bound checking. Type checking. Type checker verifies that the type of a construct, that may be constant, variable, array, list, object, matches what is expected in its uses context. For example, Java's percentile operator int x equal to 3 percentile 4.5 is a type error. Why? Because 3 is int and whether 4.5 represents a float value, and percentile cannot be used in that context. Now we will discuss about array bound checking. Bound checking is any method of detecting whether a variable is within some bounds before it is used. Okay. It is usually used to ensure that a number fits into a given type, that is range checking also, or that a variable being used as an array index is within the bounds of the array, which is called as index checking. Because performing bounds checking during every uses, it is time consuming. Bounds checking is a compiler optimization technique done at eliminates unneeded bounds. Actually what happens, when you are writing a program using an array, at that time obviously you are using an index, and each time suppose during runtime the bound checking will be made, then that will be time consuming. To minimize the time consuming, the compiler during the semantic analysis phase checks the bound checking operation. Okay. Here I have represented one structure, one programming code, that is if b equal to 0, A equal to B. Suppose the program statement is just these two lines here I have used, if B equal to 0, then A equal to B. Here I have represented in a diagrammatic way. In case of lexical analysis, tokens are generated and the tokens are used in this way: if, then bracket, opening bracket, then B, then double equal to, then double equal to represent equal to, then 0, then ending bracket, then A equal to B in this way. It is performed in the lexical analysis phase, and also in the previous class I have discussed about lexical analysis. Now we are coming to the second phase, which is your syntax analysis, and in the parsing, the parse tree is generated. That is, if is at the root and all other are in the leaf and intermediate node. Here I am going to represent about semantic analysis. In the semantic analysis, we have used the if at the root, and each operator and each data, each variables we have identified with a abstract syntax tree way. You may see here that the parse tree is extended in the semantic analysis, and it is clearly visible in the slide that at the leaf we have used int b, then int 0, then int a, then int b. Okay. int b, when we will first take int b and int 0, first of all we will check int b with int 0 with the double equal to, then if it is true, then we are coming to the next one, that is int a equal to int b. Here you can see that the parse tree which is generated in the second phase, that is extended in the semantic analysis phase. Now we will discuss one important characteristics, important aspects which is used in the semantic analysis phase, that is attribute grammar. Attribute grammar is a special form of context-free grammar where some additional information are appended to one or more of its non-terminal in order to provide context-sensitive information. It is very much essential because some coding may be syntactically correct but may not be semantically correct, and to analyze whether the coding is semantically correct or not, context sensitive information is highly necessary, and for that reason attribute grammar is important. Each attribute has well defined domain of values such as integer, float, character, string and expression. Attribute grammar, when viewed as a parse tree, can pass values or information among the node of a tree. In this class, we have discussed about semantic analysis, what is the meaning of semantic, what is the difference between syntax and semantic, and what is the job of semantic analyzer, and what are the different types of errors which are detected during this phase. Also, I have discussed about how one parse tree is extended in the semantic analysis phase, and we know that the target code which is generated as the final output, before that one intermediate code is need to be generated, which is also operation performed by the semantic analysis. Also, we have discussed about attribute grammar and what is the necessity of using attribute grammar in semantic analysis phase. I hope you have got some basic idea in this class about semantic analysis phase, but still if you have any doubt, then please write to me in the comment box so that we can clear your doubt. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great time.